Yo, DJ Tech Tools. I'm here in the studio goofing around with the MIDI Fighter 3D and the Twister, which is sequencing this hi-hat pattern. And so what I'm going to show you today is how using just a few elements and these two things in combination, you can create some really cool patterns and play over those patterns using the same remix deck. And if we drop a little bit of a vocal here, we can get a really cool tech house vibe using only loops and samples. Alright, so first of all, I want you to take notice that over here in this drum sequencer kit, we have the MIDI Fighter Twister triggering 3 channels of drums. So if we fade this guy down a little bit, and maybe bring this guy up, so we'll create a pattern with him, and turn him up. What you'll hear, let's do a very basic pattern, like a kick style pattern. Okay, so let's filter this guy out. There you go. So we've got 11 different voices that we can play here. And it goes from the top, right up here, into this first guy, all the way down. So we can select through all the different voices and figure out what we want. However, there are some voices left over in the very bottom cell that the Twister can't trigger because it's only got 12 slots here. So what I've done is I've mapped the MIDI Fighter 3D, and this mapping will be available on maps.djtechtools.com to the bottom 16. So the MIDI Fighter 3D is mapped to the same remix deck, this remix deck over here, as the Twister. So we're only using one deck for these guys, and we're triggering or controlling all of the other 3 decks over here. And I can go ahead and trigger samples on top of these rhythms. So let's say that we were to go ahead and sequence a little kick, and maybe a little snare over here. We go ahead and trigger any of these 4 channels. So there's the kick channel. So it's going to kind of punch in these kick samples over what it's already triggering. And in the third voice, I don't have anything triggered, so I'm going to go ahead and play him. Let's actually, that is the hat pattern, which I kind of like. So let's leave that and kill the snare. Instead, we'll trigger this guy here. Let's mute that kick. So I like this. All we have is a basic backbeat, a classic house, tech house kind of vibe. Let's bring in a track underneath it. And now whenever I feel like it, I'm just going to go ahead and trigger that little stab there. Now to give it the tech house kind of slow attack vibe, I've stuck a peak filter right here. So let's hear it without the peak filter. And let's put that peak filter on there and sweep it in so we can kind of shape the sound. There we go. It's starting to sound like late 90s house, which is exactly what everyone's playing right now. But here you got it. With just a basic hi-hat pattern coming over here, with the Twister sequencing, and this voice here, I'm going to go ahead and play by hand using the MIDI Fighter 3D. Now, one thing you may want to do is go ahead and have a beat masher ready before that peak filter. I've got it over here. And I'm going to grab one of those stabs with the beat masher and see if we can't make a little fill out of it. All right, I like that. So all we need to complete this whole vision is a little bit of a vocal. And on the left deck, maybe we'll go ahead and move into the track a little bit and get a bass line going.